Alright, everybody. In the last video, we discussed every single Pokemon that would not be returning into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how Rain is looking like in Generation 9 going forward. So, if you guys like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for more content. We are on our way to 200 subscribers by the end of the year. Only 39 away. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'll much appreciate it. But yeah, let's look at Rain going ahead into Generation 9. Now, like from what I've seen of leaks and whatnot, weather is very strong this generation, particularly sun and perhaps hail or snow, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna be saying hail for a bit, but it's now known as snowstorm now. So yeah, sun is very strong because the Paradox Pokemon of the past have their ability Photosynthesis, which basically boosts their highest stat in sun. So pretty much anyone that's a bit of a speedster pretty much gets a boost in the sun. Koraidon is also the legendary Pokemon that sets up Sun. So, you know, something in Scarlet and Violet Ubers would be very interesting with the Paradox Pokemon. And yeah, Hail also got changed, Ice types got buffed. But what about Rain? How's Rain shaping up to be? Well, yeah, let's go over it right now. So, I'm going to be discussing what Swift Swim users were lost in Rain, like what basically what Rain lost, what Rain gained, what Rain will eventually gain when the home comes out, and basically just discuss that. So yeah, let's start off with the things that Rain lost going into Generation 9. Now the Swift Swim users that Rain lost going into Generation 9 are Poliwrath, Kingdra, Omastar, Kabutops. We also lost Ludicolo. I should have probably used a box for this because I'm going to run out of space. Ludicolo, Seismitoad. Now, these are 6 really good Swiss swimmers that lost. You know, they're not coming in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, Poliwrath wasn't really the biggest Rain user, at least from an OU perspective. In the lower tiers, Poliwrath was pretty much the defining, you know, Swiss Swim mon. But losing something like this that had potential belly drum sweeping kind of is sad for Rain. Kingdra is probably the biggest one on this list because it was basically the best Swiss Swim Pokemon. It was fast enough that you could run a modest nature with maximum speed that you'd mostly outspeed every single Scarfer available in the OU tier. Uh, but yeah, Rain losing his biggest special attacker is really bad. So yeah, that is quite unfortunate. Omastar again wasn't really too much of a common Pokemon on Rain in OU. It wasn't really standard whatsoever. It was a bit too slow to really be used over something like Ludicolo or Seismitoad or even Kingdra. It did have Shell Smash, but the opportunity cost of using Shell Smash in Rain when you have limited turns and Omastar isn't really the bulkiest Pokemon, at least not on the special side of things, and has common weaknesses to fighting and ground and grass. So yeah, your goal wasn't really to shell smash in Rain. It was more to just, you know, hit as hard as you can. And in terms of that, Kingdra and Seismitoad kind of delivered on that already. Ludicolo also had Grass Stab to beat water types. You know, things like Gastrodon, things like Quagsire, things like freaking Cradily. You know, you have Ice Beam for Cradily because Cradily has Storm Drain. Omastar wasn't able to do that. So, yeah, Omastar will not be too missed on Rain. Kabutops was also something on the lower tier side of things. Like, it was the better option over Dreadnought, which I'll get onto later because Dreadnought is coming back in Gen 9. But yeah, Kabutops was the better option there because you had Swords Dance. You also had 80 speed, which made you faster than Dreadnought, and you were just 5 points slower than Kingdra. So you could afford to run Adamant Nature and get away with outspeeding all the Scarfers. You also had Swords Dance, pretty much good coverage in Swords Dance, knockoff, Liquidation, Aqua Jet as well. You just had perfect coverage, so Kabutops will be heavily missed. Ludicola, like I said, one of Rain's other special attackers. Having a grass type on Rain, where Rain, you know, water resists itself even through Rain boosted attacks, and having a grass type that could beat that was very nice for Rain to have. Also, like Ludicola's role was to beat Gastrodon on Rain, which no other Rain Pokemon's really capable of doing. Like, you know, Gastrodon has enough bulk to take Kingdra's Draco Meteors and, you know, just recover it off. Same thing applies to Seismitoad as well. It was also a Pokemon that Rain really enjoyed. You could either run physical or special because you had good offensive stats, 95 attack, 85 special attack. You also had coverage to hit Gastrodon with Power Whip on the physical side and Grass Knot on the special side. So that's who we lost in terms of Swift Swim for Rain. So you're probably thinking this is pretty big for for Rain that it lost some of its strongest Pokemon. But at the same time, you have to remember Rain also kept some Pokemon going into Generation 9. Now, honorable mention I wanted to mention was Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, unfortunately, unfortunately, I'm happy, bro. Yeah, Ferrothorn is not coming back in Scarlet and Violet, and Ferrothorn was basically one of Rain's anchors, or it wasn't really anchoring Rain. It was more the fact that it wasn't a Rain anchor. It was more the fact that it was like Rain's like best hazard removal. No, not hazard removal, hazard setters. But at the same time, you don't want to be running Rock Seismitoad when you want to fit, 4 attacks. So Ferrothorn was there. Ferrothorn also benefited from, fire type attacks, which is times 4 weak 2 being halved in the rain. And also it was just a very bulky Pokemon, and Ferrothorn just kind of, ward certain Pokemon. So Ferrothorn was a bastion on rain, and it shall be missed for the defensive aspects. But regardless, rain isn't all, doom and gloom. We kept several Pokemon in terms of Swift Swim, and we'll be gaining some later. So let's look at the Pokemon that we gained going into the generation. So Golduck has returned into Scarlet and Violet. Quillfish has also returned. Floatzel did not make an appearance in Gen 8, so Floatzel's, first gen back. We also have Beartic. Obviously, I'll speak more about Beartic. It wasn't Rain's standard Pokemon by any means. But Dreadnought also has made a return from Gen 8. Barrascuda, which obviously was not mentioned in the Pokemon that was left, and you're probably thinking Rain lost Kingdra, Rain lost Seismitoad is over. Well, we still have this Pokemon, which basically defined Generation 8 Rain. And then we also have Gudra, which is also going to be somewhat of an honorable mention since it doesn't necessarily have Swift Swim. It does have Hydration, which is a pretty useful ability. But yeah, let's speak about these Swift Swimmers that are, back into the game. So 6 Swift Swimmers that have made it into the Paldea decks. Golduck. Now let's speak about Golduck for a second, because Golduck actually has some interesting shit going on, Nasty Plot. It got Nasty Plot. So now you guys are probably going to be saying something that, like, you probably don't agree with me on this, but Nasty Plot Golduck is probably Rain's best special sweeper. Now, why I say this is even better than Kingdra, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to say why Golduck is better than Kingdra, in my opinion, just because of Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot makes such a big difference in terms of what Golduck has. Like, Golduck still has good coverage, very perfect coverage. It has Hydro Pump / Surf. You can decide on the accuracy that if you want to miss, run Hydro Pump, but if you want to actually guarantee kill things, run Hydro Pump. But if you don't want to miss, like, +2 Surfing Range should still kill most things. Ice Beam, and then you either have Focus Blast as the last move, Psychic as the last move, or our fancy new mechanic, Terastalize with Terra Blast. Now, Terra Blast, you can decide what type you want, honestly. Like, it's a bit much to go into what type Golduck could theoretically run if it terastalizes on, like, mainly Rain HOs. But something I was assuming is obviously something to hit grass type Pokemon for super effective damage. Now, Fire is probably not the play because, Fire type moves are reduced in Rain. You could probably just change Golduck to any freaking type you want to. Poison, for all you know, Poison also has, 2 weaknesses like water, and they're slightly less common. I mean, ground is kind of bad, but yeah, poison could work. Flying could work, though. I don't think you'd want to be. You still already have an electric weakness, so it's not the end of the world. But you do, if you go to a flying type, you get a rock weakness and a nice weakness, which it really depends what you want. But anything to Terra Blast that beats grass types, you could realistically do, and then just have Life Orb or Mystic Water or any item that you please. And Golduck has the same speed as Kingdra. You can afford to go modest. You reach 317 special attack. Same damage as Kingdra. You don't have the Dragon Stab now. You could go Terra Blast, Dragon, but at the same time it's not hitting the same as Draco Meteor from Specs. But at the same time, if you're at +2, you get a stab on Terra Blast, that could potentially do as much damage, if not more damage, than the Specs Kingdra Draco Meteor, because you're still having the same exact special attack, but you're at slightly, like, Kingdra is basically at +1 with choice specs, but Golduck has +2 with Nasty Plot. So yeah, Golduck is going to be the premier special attacker on Rain, unless Floatzel also got Nasty Plot, which I am not aware of, but I will be checking that while we begin to discuss the next Pokemon on our list, which is Coolfish. Now, Coolfish has always been an interesting Rain Pokemon, especially in the lower tiers. Like, it's not a bad Rain Pokemon by any means. Like, I don't think it's bad at all. Like, it still has 85 speed, 95 special attack. Also has access to Swords Dance and Explosion. Now, Swords Dance Explosion pretty much just kills everything that is on a Rock, Steel, or Ghost type. Like, if you can't break through that bulky water, for example, because Goldfish isn't the bulkiest Pokemon in the world. Like, it does have Gunk Shot, right? Or it might be getting Gunk Shot with the new TMs. I'll have to double check that as I'm checking this. But yeah, Floatzel doesn't get Nasty Plot, so yeah, Golduck is going to be the premier, special wall breaker. I mean, you could run Floatzel, but again, I'll be speaking about that later. Now, Coolfish. Coolfish has Gunk Shot now instead of the measly Poison Jump. So you could easily run Swords Dance, Explosion, Gunk Shot, and Liquidation, obviously. And Coolfish is a very scary Rain Wall Breaker. Of course, Barrascuda is still in the picture, which has a massive speed over Coolfish, but at the same time, Coolfish is a decent alternative. You're bulkier than Barrascuda. You also have Swords Dance, which Barrascuda doesn't have, unless I have to double check that again. But yeah, Coolfish is looking pretty good. It is somewhat a Seismitoad replacement, but at the same time, Seismitoad's ground typing did help against the electric matchup that Rain often, has issue with, because all of them are like mostly water types, and water types are weak to electric-based attacks. So yeah, Coolfish is going to be a decent Rain Pokemon, definitely. Full Rain is not bad whatsoever. I don't believe it's bad at all. So yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. Floatzel, on the other hand, now I feel bad for Floatzel because I do want Floatzel to be good, but it doesn't get Nasty Plot like Golduck does. So you're just having a slightly faster, let me not even say slightly, 115 is much better than 85, but you're having a much faster Golduck that can't boost its, stats. Like, Floatzel's weak on the special side. Now, if Floatzel gets SD, then I could argue, physical Floatzel will be pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, if it gets SD. But Floatzel doesn't get SD. It does have bulk up, but again, Floatzel has less bulk than anything that tried to set up, options in the past that Rain had. Coolfish has better bulk. Kabutops has better bulk because it, has an additional rock type and extra resistances. Also has a massive defense stat. Floatzel literally has no defense to its name. So, arguably, like, Floatzel is just worse than Golduck. Like, I wouldn't really want to be running Floatzel. Like, Golduck is fast enough to outspeed most Scarfers. It's not like a Lecky's here, so you don't have to worry about a Lecky. And you have Nasty Plot. Like, there's no reason really to be running Floatzel on Rain. Like, Specs is still weaker than Golduck when it Nasty Plots. Like, yeah, it's sad to say that Floatzel won't really be too good. It really just depends on the lower tier, Rain setters, for example, with Rain Dance. That's where Floatzel would shine. But I would see Golduck as like an OU alternative, while Floatzel's like a lower tier, Rain alternative. Because realistically, yeah, Nasty Plot really just makes a massive difference in my opinion. Now, I won't spend too much on Beartick. Beartick is not a standard on Rain at all. It's too slow, and it's just better Rain Pokemon. Sure, it has SD. Sure, it gets Icicle Crash, all of those nice stuff. But Beartick isn't a water type. As much as I'd love for it to be a water type, it's not a water type. It doesn't get stab on Liquidation. I mean, the Rain is basically stab, but it doesn't also get another 1.5 times boost because it's not a water type. So Beartick isn't even worth talking about. It's just too slow. On Hail, which I'll get onto, it will have a better time because of the new, Hail changes. But yeah, Beartick on Rain isn't a thing. So Dreadnought, on the other hand, this will be the Kabutops replacement. Now, Dreadnought was basically the poor man's Kabutops because Kabutops was faster. 80 to 74, not that much of a difference. Like, you could really argue, like, Kabutops over Dreadnought. Like, Dreadnought has Head Smash, for example. That makes a massive difference. But Head Smash is massive recoil, especially if you're running a Life Orb. And you can't run, like, this thing doesn't get Rockhead. So it's just, like, struggling there. Like, Dreadnought still has SD, to my knowledge, so it's basically just doing what Kabutops does, like SD, Liquidation, Stone Edge, or Head Smash. It really depends on how crazy you want to go. And then Earthquake. Like, Dreadnought has the same base attack as Kabutops. Might not be able to afford the adamant nature, but the speed test might be overall low in Generation 9, so adamant could be run. But reaching 494 speed, you might want to be above 500, maybe, but getting to 361 attack and getting a +2 is pretty good. So yeah, Dreadnought's basically the Kabutops replacement, is going to be pretty good on Rain. Now back to Barrascuda. This mon defined Generation 8 Rain just because it was so quick, so strong. Banded flip turn. Now flip turn was an Isle of Armor, you know, move to move. It might have been made into Barrascuda's move pool, but so far from what I'm seeing, Barrascuda does not have access to flip turn anymore, which is quite unfortunate because, like, a lot of the time, Barrascuda kept momentum on a lot of for Rain teams because you'd want to switch into the mon that could theoretically take a Barrascuda hit. You flip turn out into your Seismitoad, you flip turn out into your Kabutops, or even your Pelipper or something. But not having that momentum option just means you're just gonna be a liquidation spammer essentially, which is quite unfortunate because flip turn in Rain still chipped a lot of things with a choice band. So yeah, Barrascuda is going to be missing that a lot. In terms of what new moves it gets, it does obviously have terrestrializing potential. Again, that is just a whole bag of worms to get into in terms of that sort of potential that it has. It still has CC, it still has Psychic Fangs, and it's as his last move, honestly, it's tough to say what his last move is. Poison Jab to hit Tapu Fini, which isn't even in Generation 9, so yay, we're winning. But yeah, it's probably going to be Terrestrializing Terra Blast, but at the same time, you're still locked. It's not like Dynamax where you can switch moves. You will just be locked into Terra Blast if you Terrestrialize, and that means you're not spamming Liquidation. So it's quite sad to see how Flip Turn has been removed from this Pokemon, but it will still be one of Rain's best Pokemon, of course. Like, without a doubt, Barrascuda is literally carrying Rain in Generation 8. So it could be Crunch, it could be Brick Break, it could be Poison Jab, or the next the highest base power move in Drill Run, which is 80 base power. I mean, Psychic Fangs is 85, but you really just have nothing else to run. So yeah, those are the returning Pokemon that we're gonna have in day one, Scarlet and Violet. Again, Beartic's not going to get used. It'll be used on Hail because of the new Hail changes. But yeah, honorable mention again, Gudra. Gudra is a decent rain Pokemon. It does have a lot of bulk on the special side. It also has Hydration, and it also hits pretty hard. It has Draco, it has Hydro Pump, so it has something to actually abuse the rain. It also just has good coverage in general, Thunder, and it also has... it has Ice Beam and it has Fire coverage as well, but obviously Fire coverage is, useless in the rain. So Gudra is looking like a decent rain Pokemon. It is going to be your Electric resist on rain now because you don't have any ground types on rain to run, unless you want to run Hydration Wishcash, which is kind of trolling. So, yeah, so Gudra's going to be decent enough, I suppose. It's going to be decent enough. Okay, guys, now we're going to be discussing the Pokemon that Rain will be getting back when Pokemon Home comes out. Now, the first one I want to discuss is Zapdos. Now, Zapdos, unfortunately, doesn't get anything new to his move pool, but it still, to my knowledge, keeps Weather Ball. So you're going to have that water option in Rain, which is very nice. It doesn't get Nasty Plot. Would have been cool if Zapdos got Nasty Plot, I'm not going to lie. Wait, does it actually keep Weather Ball? From the move sets, it actually doesn't seem like it keeps Weather Ball. So you might just have to Terra Zapdos into Weather Ball, to be honest, which is going to be a lot weaker, but Zapdos still has Terrestrializing potential. I'll check quickly what Weather Ball distribution is looking like, because if it was a TR in Generation 8, then it makes sense to why you won't be able to transfer it. By leveling up, it's TM46 in Scarlet and Violet. I mean, Sword and Shield. And I need to find the document again. Apologies, guys. TM46 is Weather Ball here. Avalanche. It got replaced by Avalanche. So Weather Ball is not a TM anymore. So Zapdos won't have that. Or will it? I don't know. Because they said transfer moves. So, like, the Pokemon's moveset gets reset when transferred to other games. So I don't think Zapdos has Weather Ball, which is quite unfortunate. So it's probably just going to stick with Thunder, Hurricane, U-Turn, and like Terrestrialize Water. Because I still think Zapdos would like to have a Water type move. It is going to be weaker than Weather Ball by 20 base power, but I don't think Zapdos will mind it too much. And it's decent Terrestrializing potential on the rain teams as well. So the next thing I also want to discuss is Thunder's T. Again, is pretty much Zapdos, but with Nasty Plot. You have Thunder, you have Focus Blast, you do have Weather Ball as well, unless Thunder has also lost Weather Ball on you know, the transfer in. Because it doesn't seem like it gets Weather Ball by level up, so it got it by TM, and so Thunderous won't have Weather Ball either, which is quite unfortunate as well. But you could Terrestrialize Flying with Thunderous T, so you actually have a physical, I mean a special flying type move, because that's what Thunderous is lacking, and it doesn't seem like it was given Hurricane. It would be pretty broken if it got Hurricane. I won't lie to you guys. Hurricane would be a bit too much on it. Yeah, so Thunderous. It does have its new signature move, actually, which is called Wild Bolt Storm, but I'm pretty sure that is just straight up electric type move going by the name. If we look at the moves, Wild Bolt Storm. Yeah, so that is an electric type move with 100 base power. I mean, you'd still want to be running Thunder, because Thunder's 10 base power stronger than 100 at 110. But yeah, Terra Flying, Thunderous T to get a special flying type move, or Terra Electric to even boost your electric type moves. That could be something that's pretty cool. But losing your flying typing would be interesting, so that's something to consider as well. But there's a lot to go over. Let's talk about Overquill quickly. Now, Overquill, obviously the evolution of Hisuian Coolfish. Overquill has Swift Swim. It might not. It should have some water type moves. If I check its move pool quickly, it has Swords Dance like normal Coolfish. So set Swords Dance. It has Gunk Shot by TM. Yep, we're chilling. We also have the liquidation, which is not stab, but doesn't get any dark moves. That's the interesting question, because it's poison dark, so it has to have some dark moves somewhere. It does have crunch, which obviously crunch is all right. Crunch is okay, and that's it really. It does have Barb Barrage, which is its signature move. Barb Barrage, that is a poison type move, 60 base power. This may also poison. Oh, so it's basically like poison hex, and apparently has a 50% poison chance, which is actually pretty sick. But I still think you'd want to run Gunk Shot, to be honest. Gunk Shot's power is just too insane, and relying on poison. I mean, it's essentially the same base power as Gunk Shot if you get a poison. So there's really no reason to run it unless you want to have an accurate poison move. But yeah, Overquill is basically a stronger Coolfish that isn't a water type. If you don't want to run Crunch, obviously you have Terra Blast potential, Terrestrializing, but again, you can hold that in your own head, to be honest. But Swords Dance, Gunk Shot, Liquidation, this one's going to be kind of crazy, especially with the bulk that is packing and its one weakness to ground. Yeah, Overquill is going to be pretty solid as well. But yeah, overall, guys, Rain is looking pretty solid in Generation 9. Now, is it better than Sun? That's really debatable. We'll see how it goes, but I do think Sun has a lot more broken options to work with, specifically the Paradox Pokemon of the past. Obviously, their ability boosts one of their stats under Sun. Koraidon also has, you know, Drought, Intrepid Sword in an ability, essentially, but that's going to be Uber's Pokemon anyway. But yeah, I'm excited to use Weather in this generation, and hopefully you guys are too. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.